is Chad Allen Gemma. Yes. Please welcome him warmly.
Listen as I catch up on my pimpin' and freak this duet just like Ashford and Simpson, 'cause I'm...
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Good. I recently started dating again. Got on Hinge. Yeah. Just divorced this year. Just started dating. I met this girl, and she told me on like the first date, I don't have a gag reflex. And I was like, wow, that's fucking awesome. Thanks. So we get back to my place. We're doing the deed. And all of a sudden, she starts to gag. And she goes, oh, my God. No man has ever been able to trigger my gag reflex. And I felt really good about that for about 2 seconds until I remembered that small parts are choking hazards. Yeah. So... Other things on my dating profile, I decided to get a dog to help with it. Ladies like dogs. They just do, especially cute ones. And I got a beagle. The one thing I noticed about this beagle is he looks like a more proportionate wiener dog. They just do. They really do. So I put that on my profile, and it says, I have a proportionate wiener. He gets excited when you pet him. Loves being out in the fresh air. He's a little skittish around people, but loves dogs. And now PETA won't stop sending me threatening messages. So, I got told recently by a 9-year-old that I look like I enjoy a lot of gas station food. There's no punchline to that. It just really fucking sucks that it happened. So I decided I wanted to go make myself feel better about this, and I went to one of those Japanese stores and I bought this shirt. And it when I went to go buy it, I asked the lady that was selling it, "What size is this? I can't read the tag." And she says, "Oh, in Oriental sizing, that is a triple extra large." And so then I thought, great, now I'm obese on 2 continents. That made me feel real good hearing that, and so I decided I need to see a counselor for my depression. Surprise. So I went to go see this counselor, and she said, "Yeah, I think you have, seasonal depression disorder or just some sort of depressive disorder, and you should probably get prescribed an antidepressant." And so I went to my primary care physician, and my primary care physician told me, "Hey, man, I don't think you need an antidepressant. I think you just have a case of the SADS." That is what a medical professional said to my face. Yeah. So then I went back a couple months later because I was having massive stomach pains. And he said, "Oh, you probably have IBS. Here, let's prescribe you an antidepressant. Because apparently my stomach's more upset than I am." So I don't know how that works. As a segue for this next set of jokes, I'm going to leave you guys with a fun fact. Fun fact, the average human butthole can stretch up to 11 inches without taking damage. That is a true fact. Also, but unrelated, the average American raccoon can squeeze into an 8-inch space. In case you're wondering what I'm doing later. No, guys, I have hemorrhoids. That's the segue for this joke. And it sucks having hemorrhoids. The way I got them was not cool. Here, you sir, Joe, or whatever you said your name was. What's the coolest way that you've ever hurt yourself?
Ever hurt myself?
Yes.
Snowboarding.
Save some pussy for the rest of us. Now, do you want to know how I got hemorrhoids? Too bad, I'm telling you. I got hemorrhoids from standing in one spot for too long, too often. Guys, I broke my butthole from loitering, which is the worst punishment for loitering. Actually, if the 2020 protests taught us anything, that's the worst punishment for loitering. You're right. You are absolutely right. So I decided, when people tell me that the human body is a miracle, I'm not going to fucking listen to them. People have come up to me and they've said things like, well, Chad, you know, the human body's such a miracle. I've seen mothers lift cars off their children because of adrenaline. And I go, you want to know what a miraculous thing the human body does? If you do nothing for too long, you will break your asshole. You will. You absolutely will. Another comic came up to me the first time I told that joke. And she said, Chad, do you really have hemorrhoids? And I said, yeah. It sucks. And she goes, okay, I had them as well. You need to go to the Oregon Hemorrhoid Clinic. What they do is they take a laser and they shoot it into your butt and it gets rid of your hemorrhoids. And so I got there to the Oregon Hemorrhoid Clinic, and that's the first question I asked the doctor. And he looks at me and he says, are you fucking stupid? So guys, to answer your questions, your burning questions, your questions that burn just like my asshole, it's not a laser. It's an electrode. They take an electrode and they shove it up your pooper and they zap the hemorrhoids until they shrink and disappear. And when I found out about this, guys, my ass was shocked. I know. Very, very unfortunate puns. Yes, that's the tier of comedy I'm at today. So this doctor, he's performing this procedure and he shoves this thing in my ass, and he comes up behind me and he's like, how does that feel? I'm like, well, doc, it feels like we were in a 10-year relationship and you're trying to keep shit interesting. Like, what do you mean, how does that feel? Like, you just shoved something in my ass. I have hemorrhoids. I didn't tell him to stop, but that's something different. Don't kink shame me, please. I went up to the front counter after getting that treatment done, and the lady at the front counter said, by the way, your insurance will not cover this. So I got fucked in the ass twice that day. Oh, God. Getting off the butthole stuff here. Thank Christ. So my dad wants me to start talking about being Italian on stage. We're Italian. We come from, our ancestors came from Italy. And he goes, Chad, talk about your heritage on stage. Like, there's some funny stuff there, right? And I said, yeah, Dad, but not the way you think. We're not the cool kind of Italian, guys. Like, we're not East Coast Italian. Like, okay, here's the thing. Yes, my dad has a secret sauce recipe. Here's the secret, folks. He stole that shit from Rachel Ray. You give a 55-year-old man too much time on his hands and unlimited access to the Food Network, he's going to try some shit. Secondly, yes, my dad thinks his friend Vinny has connections to the mob. He doesn't. He's just a shitty used car salesman. Guys, that's it. And my nana does make homemade pizza. It's delicious. It's really good. But it's French bread pizza, guys. So yeah, we're Italian, but we're Italian like a Stouffer's lasagna is Italian. Like, we may have started off in Italy, but America removed all the seasoning, and somehow we're just much fatter for it. So, my dad doesn't like my comedy. He hates that last bit. He fucking hates it. And I know that my dad doesn't like my comedy because the last time he saw me perform, I went up at Helium for Portland's Funniest Person back in 2019. And he comes up to me afterwards. He says, Bud, that was one of your best sets yet. I go, thanks, Dad. That means a lot. And he goes, but, and there's always a but. He goes, but you should tell John Panette jokes. For those of you who don't know who that is, he's a very famous comic from the 80s. And I go, Dad, I can't do that. I can't tell John Panette jokes. And he goes, well, why not? And I said, because that's plagiarism. And he goes, well, that's how I got through English in high school. So, yeah. I have ADHD. That's why all the subject matter is all over the place. My preschool teacher was the one who had to tell my mom about it. she goes up to my mom one day and she goes, Tracy, we think Chad has ADHD. And my mom says, well, why do you think that? And she goes, well, because he's fucking stupid. No, I'm just kidding, guys. A preschool teacher didn't say that to my mom more than one time. No, she said, Chad learns through osmosis, which means I just take the stuff that's around me in, and that's how I learn. Come to find out, after 31 years, I've been surrounded by idiots. And that's why I'm doing this. I got made fun of a lot in school for having ADHD. I got bullied. The one kid specifically gave me a hard time for it. His name was Adam. And Adam used to come up to me and he'd say shit like, Chad, look, a squirrel. Hey, Chad, look, a squirrel. Over and over and over. And you're like, you want to know what's more distracting than a squirrel? The fact that a raccoon can fit into an 8-inch space. Guys, I'm telling you, my plans later... No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, he kept saying it. Chad, look, a squirrel. Chad, look, a squirrel. Hey, Chad, look, a squirrel. And I got so fed up that the next time he said, hey, Chad, look, a squirrel, I said, Adam, look, your dad left you and your mom. He was an asshole, guys. Like, it's okay. He deserved it. But you know what Adam stopped doing after that? Adam stopped coming to school. All right. You guys have been great. Thanks.
Rain, I'm making it snow.